You have no idea how happy we are to be back in the studio again. Right, Doc?
Absolutely.
Oh, it feels like forever. And this was kind of like a last minute. We didn't know if we were going to be here or be square somewhere else. So here we are to wrap up this year of 2021. And I'm sure that a lot of you out there have a whole lot of stories like we do to actually get ready for another new year. But really, I think 2022 is going to be a big, fantastic year for everyone.
It even sounds good.
It even sounds good. 2022.
Yeah,
it has a rhyme, a ring to it.
A little bit of rock and rhythm there.
Yeah, exactly.
Good way to kick off the year.
Boy, that's for sure. And I tell you, we just decided to come out just a little bit more casual. Doc, as he's known at the studio here today, decided to go very casual with his champion hat on, being the champion that he is. And I wore my tore up holy black jeans, and so we're ready to rock and roll for this hour. It's actually known as Year in Review. And what I mean by that is we're going to share little tidbits from this past year, keeping everything on the upbeat, even though we all know that we've had those little moments of despair, maybe crisis, maybe health issues, whatever. It's been tumultuous in a sense, correct?
Yeah, for not only us, but everybody.
Yes, everybody.
You can't run away from it.
No. But we can change our perception and we can move forward with positivity. My one son, Jason, I keep referring to this. In fact, Helena, one of our women unscripted, which, by the way, that's what this show usually is. The last Monday of every month is our Women Unscripted. So before we get started, and I finish what I was about to say, is I want to really pay tribute to our girls that are usually here, and it's wild and crazy. Love, laughter, tears, you name it, we have it all. They're off doing their thing, whether it be addressing a health issue or on vacation or traveling around the world, whatever it is. Maura Sweeney, Helena Trangata, Sharon Kistler, we've had Mary Ann that has come on from time to time, and Chrysula Gauze also as one of our stand-in Women Unscripted. We're hoping to all be back this time at the end of the month in January, brand new year. So, yay for that. Now I forgot what I was going to say earlier, see?
I do that occasionally,
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Some things just never change, right? I'll think about it while we're moving on here. So, let's just rewind. Let's do a little rewind for, I know what I was going to say. This is really, really important. So my son Jason, he came up with this thing about Kelly and I, Doc and I, Champ and I, being so positive that if we were on the Titanic, we would be going one more song, one more dance, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a special edition in our upcoming book series and everything that we're moving forward with for 2022. So let me ask you guys a question. How has your year been? Are you able to count some blessings, or have you had those moments of despair or crisis or whatever they may be? Are you trying to turn them around? Believe me, you see us here on the show, happy, bouncy, bushy-tailed and bright-eyed and all that. But behind the scenes, we're real people. We're real people. Just like when Channel 10 did a special on us as real people in the neighborhood on anti-aging and how to live our best life. And best health and things of that nature. And so I just want you to know that we're not always all that in a bag of chips behind the scenes. We've had our moments this last year, haven't we?
Yes, we sure have, haven't we?
We sure have, but we've pushed through them, and I know there's a lot of you out there pushing through them, but in this hour, we're going to try to do different little pieces of what has happened in our lives for the last year. And you'll be able to understand why moving forward in 2022, we have a lot of different solutions, because we are, what do I want to say? We're those that are lifetime influencers, always looking for solutions for all of us. That's why we use this as our spiritual platform, getting back to basics, getting back to God and faith and all the things that we believe in, and hopefully that there might be something that you may resonate with. So starting back, we had our first challenge, as many of you had last year, in April 17th, to be exact. My husband was in renal failure. Now, when you hear renal failure, you think, uh-oh, what's next? Death's door. Well, of course, being that I'm married to Superman, the Superman that he is, he wasn't about to have any of that. Now, as we fast forward, the surgery here or there, the emergency room here and there, I'm not going to bore you with the details. The bottom line is we push through it, through prayer, our belief, and our love for one another that has brought us even deeper into our relationship, which we didn't really know that we could.
Well, one good thing, when you have trying situations and you go through it and everything's okay afterwards, it really helps give you an extra boost for what's coming in this next year.
That's right.
In other words, count all your blessings. We made it through another year. Mm-hmm. No matter how you made it, whether it was positive or negative, the fact that you made it. Mm-hmm. And then take from there the most positive elements out of that, say, way of being, way of doing.
Exactly. You know, it was cute because Rob he's one in our producer crew. And I was asking him how his birthday was, how Christmas was, and he said, well, I'm not looking to celebrate those birthdays, but perception is everything. So I had to come back with something positive, right? So I said, I look forward to those birthdays. It means I made it another year. But until you get up in those age groups, we don't think about those things. But we do. 73 going on 74s, 83 going on 84. There's a lot to be said for life at its breathtaking best and making the very best of every single day. We were so excited coming over to the studio because we have a new studio in Gulfview Square Mall. It's fabulous, and if you ever want to have a tour or do a show with WeBeam TV, let us know. Come out, we'll give you a tour and everything. So let's go back to April. Fast forward, right, to where we are today. Thanksgiving was really special because you had a chance to meet your one and only son after 66 years.
Yeah, it was quite an exciting event, and everybody took to him more than they take to me.
I don't know about that.
But, well, I'm just kidding,
The two of you are one of the same. We found that out.
Yeah, he is a world-class athlete, mm-hmm. and world-class person,
yes,
above all. And I couldn't believe that my son would be that positive, because I've been through so many things myself over the period of years, and I allow for the substance to be once in a while questioned, because you can't be perfect. Mm-hmm. But he passed it with flying colors.
Gary is amazing. And Gary, if you're watching, I did tag you in our post for the show today. And next time you come, I know you're coming possibly within the next couple of months, if it's at all possible. Maybe we'll have Gary on the show. Maybe we'll get Sherry and
great.
Barry on as well. Cheryl is Kelly's daughter, and you met Cheryl, it was 8 years ago. And I'll tell you, the reunion was as if they were never 60-some years apart. It was such a beautiful blessing, and all the goodness that we shared with each other. You started going to the museums around town here with Gary, and that was cool, going to a museum.
Yeah, I found that quite interesting.
Yeah.
To look at the works by Pascal, Van Gogh, And
Salvador Dali?
yeah, he also, we can't forget about him.
Oh, yeah.
So it was an interesting day, so to speak, doing that with my son that I haven't seen for over 60 years.
That's amazing.
We have a wonderful telephone conversation, but nothing beats that personal appearance.
Oh, that personal appearance, exactly. And he even cooked for us, and he's actually, this is actually one of our kind of more recent discoveries, and knowing that this is what we need to do. And I want to share this with you. We're not saying you need to do this or should do this or any of that, but Gary really enlightened us to the fact that we must get our gut health in gear, no matter what. That I know. It's been out there. It's been proven that when we have better gut health, we're healthier, and especially when we get older. And so that is my mission for 2022, and I've already started. I don't know if we're going to go full gluten-free, but we're cutting back the grains. I've already started doing it, and within 24 hours, I felt much better. And just knowing, so believe it or not, I'm going to give a free plug for Publix. If you go there, you can find really tasty crackers and dips and all the things that we need for good gut health. Now, wouldn't you recommend probiotics and prebiotics as well?
Oh, absolutely. We
Yes.
can see the results almost within a day or two.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's nothing more uncomfortable than a bloated gut. And then you have all that extra size that you're carrying around, weight. Mm-hmm. And it's not so much the weight, it's the size and the way it appears.
And it's the way you feel.
Yeah. And it comes from stress. Mm-hmm. One of the things that everybody can help themselves with this next year, year 21, is
22.
22, excuse me. I've been saying 21 too long. And 22, all right, is hang around. I say hang around. Associate with people that are positive that will help give you a lift. There's enough good people in the world that you don't need to rub elbows with people that are not positive, that do not have a good outlook, and that reflects on yourself. They can measure right now up to 12 feet away the electrical energy that comes from the heart. And that has a lot to do with our personality, our health, and so on. So above anything else, think positive, feel positive, and associate with people that don't try to drain from you, but gain from you.
Ooh, I like that. I have not heard it said
I
that
haven't
way.
either.
You just made that
it
up?
just came.
See? I love it. Speaking of love, in case you didn't notice our bigger than God sign and message, if you ask my grandson what his superpower is, it's not his strength or his muscles, it's love. And now he's asking me what my superpower is. See how it comes back to you tenfold?
Absolutely. Well, he certainly shocked us all that when he, instead of, you know how kids are when you ask them questions that they can expand on in a funny way, he just took that seriously, even though he said it laughing.
Yeah.
But he knew what to say right away.
Yeah, and he just did that a couple of days ago at Christmas, and it makes me feel good that since my family has moved down here from Gainesville, we've bonded so much more, and we see each other so much more. And you know, that puts such good chemicals when we leave one another. I just feel so good. It feels just wonderful to feel good. And it is possible, I'll tell you. But I didn't feel too good Christmas Day. We celebrate Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day, I think everything from this last year just caught up with me. And I was on the couch. I did absolutely nothing but pray and count my blessings and say, please, God, get me through this day. And here we are. I had no idea we were going to be able to do this show today because that was just the other day. So anyway, some of the other things that we have found in this last year is regardless of what we are going through, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The reason why I wear this bling isn't to show off my inexpensive costume jewelry. It's to shine. It's a good amulet for me to wear because that's how I feel. Inside, there is a light shining, and there's a light that's shining in every single one of you. And if you just look in the mirror and say it, believe it, you'll see it. Right?
Absolutely. Very well put.
There you go. And I believe that. I truly believe that. I have to mention one of our women unscripted, Helena Trangata. You got to go to her I just had to post this. I posted a response because she's down at the beach. They go every year. She's dressed up like an Eskimo, okay? And she's got all the sparkle around her, that, you know, one of those special effects and all. And it's cold. And I'm going, that suits you so well. She has her little red elf hat on and she's smiling. And it was the cutest darn picture, and I thought, that is so you, dressing up like that and just sending out that shiny smile with a sparkle around it. You'll see what I'm talking about. I think it's on as her profile or something like that, but it's really cute. And of course, Cher, we were in touch not too long ago. Cher is recovering from a little bit of surgery, doing great, doing really great. And Maura for you, goodness knows where Maura is. She's liable to be somewhere around the world spreading her happiness. So I just wanted to give a shout out to our girls, because they'll be coming back hopefully next year, next month. So what can we do that is unscripted besides just being ourselves here? I don't have any script. This is just a note that I posted on Facebook in case I lose my mind for a special moment or get on my own nerves. Then I can just look down here and see. What do you have to say? I'm always blabbing all the time.
That's right. You tend to make sense occasionally.
I tend to make sense most of the time? Is that what you wanted to say?
Well, I have to really think hard to keep up with you.
You do?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Well, you're a little bit younger than I am.
That has nothing to do with anything, right?
Well, I have to
Age
have
is
some,
just a number.
I have to have some type of comeback for that.
That's true. Okay, so I'm going to turn the show over to you. Let's go ahead and rewind. We talked about Gary. This is totally unscripted. We have no notes on that. Like I say, this is just from what was on Facebook. So go ahead, say something. What do you think about this last year? Mostly positive.
It was an educational year.
Ah, I love that.
I've had to deal with more patience than I've ever had in my life, with my friends, with my family. Everybody has sort of got their own little Waterloo. But the key thing is to try to keep your mind focused on the good things, on the things that you do have. Get your mind off the things you don't have or have that you don't like or want. And it's very important to be able to control those kind of emotions. And of all the things in the world, that's the one thing, and probably the only thing, that we have control of is our personality, our thoughts. The word thought is the most important word in English language. And the three most important words are thoughts are things. So what you think about, you bring about. So use this new year as like a diving board, diving into the sea of love, diving into the sea of forgiveness. Those things, love, forgiveness, at very high vibration levels. You know, we are not solid matter like we think we are. We all generate either positive or negative thoughts and actions, and it has a complete effect on not only us, but all of our friends around us. And the ones that they affect the most are children. Your attitude around your children should be of a positive nature, because children, when you set a goal with children and then you don't follow through with them and try to help them maintain it, then that actually works in reverse. Then they lose confidence in you. Or if you punish your child for some reason or other without spanking them, if you teach positive thinking, positive feeling with your kids, it really makes a big difference later on in life, because then they use that with their kids. And it's a never-ending stream of positive feeling, positive thinking. Actually, I put positive feeling before I do positive thinking. It's hard to have positive thinking when you don't know how you feel. But when you manufacture a feeling, like think of a day in your life that you were very happy, think of a time in your life that you were very right on the goal and doing things that are helping others, it really makes you feel good. So you want to feel good, help somebody else feel good.
That is so true. And before I forget, as you know, I'm not going to say it. How did I wake up this morning? I blew you away, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it was basically the Holy Spirit that woke me up again. Only this way, the Holy Spirit was running a little bit late today. It's usually 3 o'clock in the morning. Today, it was around 5 o'clock. And it was so impactful that I don't even have time to talk about it today, but I will be delivering that message. I'll give you just a little bit. But I know it gave us even more motivation, because I had been praying, really deeply praying, asking God to just tell us, what's our next step? Do you know what the first thing was? Get back in the studio. Use that platform. Use that platform. I swear. I can't make this stuff up. And then it was just one thing right after another. Just as I picked up my iPad and I listened to Dr. Charles Stanley every morning at 5 o'clock. And you were up a little bit later than that, after I had all this wonderfulness that came, right?
Right.
And I thought, this is really fabulous. So I said to my husband, I go, we listened to this information as a result of listening to Dr. Charles Stanley. And I just said, look, it's like God's putting this on a silver platter for us, saying, here, go do this, and don't wait any longer. You asked me to tell you, I'm telling you. And so it's just wonderful. And the bottom line of all this, I'm going to fast forward and dive right into what I gathered from this, what I discerned from this. It was all so good because it gave me a message to ask myself and my husband a question. And that is, are we going to leave this planet when we go to the other side, when we meet our Maker? Are we going to leave things undone that we've wanted to do all our lives? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. And we've talked about passion. We want to leave you with this year food for thought to set up for next year. And one of those things is living a life without fulfilling the purpose of our Heavenly Father, number one, for us. And by doing that, He will provide the resources in which to complete that. That is why we're here in this studio. We are over 200 episodes, and we're committed. We may have missed some as a result of emergencies and health challenges, but guess what? Here we are, after all. And I'm talking about serious health challenges. But here we are to get this message to you guys. I want you to just stop and think, whatever age you are right now, is there something on your heart that you would like to do? Something on your heart that you just feel so strongly about? So my husband and I asked ourselves that question earlier on today, because we know that being soulmates, that we were meant to be here for this day, for now. After 26 years of being together, 21 years of marriage, we're on this message. We may not have a big, huge, fancy house, or fancy cars, or gazillions of dollars in the bank, but where we feel our wealth is right here, that we can share with you, that it's priceless. It's priceless, living a heart-centered life and being able to help others, help coach others, and let them tap into that wellspring of joy, happiness. Everything you need is right here in your heart. And when you experience living like that, those are the secrets of what we've discovered, which is developed into our system that we are going to be doing complimentary coaching. We're not charging for it. We will be doing complimentary seminars and workshops as time rolls out, and however we're supposed to, whether it be here, whether it be on Zoom, whether it be private one-on-one. We have our coaching program that we're also going to be certification. That's going to be certifying coming up in 2022. We've had it up and down, on and off the back burner, because just life happens. And life happens. You know, I had one of my friends post on Facebook today, and was having a challenge trying to figure out how to tell her kids something. And one of the things that came to me, because I was still in that whole Holy Spirit mode, and I was thinking, you know what, just go to your heart and it will come to you. And sometimes it may sound like passing the buck, but a dear friend of ours, Jeff Jefferson, he always says that, hey, that's life, right?
Right.
That's life. Sometimes we don't have the answers. We don't have all the answers. If you only saw my husband and I look at each other every once in a while, well, now what do we do?
Well, one of the great Japanese warriors, samurai warriors, was Miyamoto Musashi.
Oh, yeah.
He was a Ronin warrior, samurai warrior, paid, it's like a paid gun to go and protect the lords that had the money and things like that. And he said, you want to be happy? Be happy. Want to be happy? Very simple, be happy. Because we can control it no matter what happens. If we're dead, or alive today and dead tomorrow, it's that time between when we were born and when we leave this world that you want to be happy. Because happiness is contagious. So is unhappiness contagious. So when you're around people, one of the biggest responsibilities, especially family, is be happy. Be happy they're there, regardless of what the situation is.
That's right. That's right. Because you know what? When we were younger, we never thought we would be in a thinking mode of, wow, look where we are at 73 and 83. We made it this far. Nobody knows what tomorrow has to bring. But I do say that tomorrow is never promised. We never know. I didn't know I was going to be having you marched off to the ER how many times that we did, right? But we did,
That's right.
And out you came because of the way you take care of yourself, the way I take care of myself. Is it all that and a bag of chips to give you a guarantee about tomorrow and where you'll be if you have a health challenge? No. But gosh darn it, if we have some knowledge that we have good scientific proof that we can share with you guys, please take it to heart. And you're always able to get a hold of us through Facebook, and we're here to really help with what's helped us. And I mean, I never dreamed that we would be going through some of the craziness that we've gone through. Have not had COVID. Have not had COVID. That's the only time I'm going to mention that C word, because I would rather talk the L word, which is behind us. There's a lot of science behind us with the love word. And I heard on the radio today that they were saying it in different words, but they were saying it the same as we have when we do our little pieces and episodes on Heart Math Institute. Well, they were saying you cannot have two different, I forget how they said it, but we always say you can't have two opposing emotions or feelings or thoughts at the same time.
They call it cognitive dissonance.
Thank you.
Have a name for it.
Thank you. Cognitive dissonance, right? And just try it. Try to think of love. You just can't do it. We have our opening the chest, you know, the opening the chest that we do. And my husband says, smile when you get here, when you're taking a deep breath. And then he'll do an experiment to see if our students can be cranky or sad. When they're smiling, you can't do it.
Yeah, when you think about it, there's over 120 languages on this planet, and a smile covers them all.
Boy, it sure does. It sure does. So think about that, you know, and we've done demonstrations, we'll be doing some more, where do you want to drink from the cup of poise, or do you want to drink from the cup of poison? Those two, you can actually, just the words, just draw you down, or boost you up. And that's what we're here for. We're here to be your closest lifetime influencers, which we're launching next month. So you have to tune into our shows. I hope that everything's going to work out just the way we think we have planned, but then life happens, right?
That's right.
So we'll see. We'll see. But you'll always be able to get in touch with us. Some of the things that I posted on Facebook was, how many of you come up with a New Year's resolution? Raise your hand. Not us, do we? We don't ever do a New Year's resolution, ever. In the 26 years that we've been together. Why? Is because for some people, it's almost like setting yourself up for failure, right? Failure and
That's so true.
disappointment. So we like to look at it as setting goals. How many of you heard my husband talk about setting goals? It's in his book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. When we set goals, it's just so much better. And achievable goals, right? Achievable goals. That is like from one of my coaching sessions called SMART Goals. And setting SMART goals and setting intentions. Setting those intentions to truly manifest what you are thinking. I overheard somebody saying, when was it? Oh, it was yesterday at the health food store. I was talking to this fellow over there because I was looking for more knowledge about different things, like ringing in the ears, different things like that. And I overheard him talking to a gal in the store, and he was like, it was like I must have been, we were on the same page. He was saying, well, you know, you shouldn't say those words because you're giving birth to them all the time. And I'm thinking to myself, self-talk, 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 right? Think about your self-talk. If anything, if you leave the show today, if there's anything at all, I would love for you to remember, even if you have to write it down and carry the card around with you, a little index card, carry it around with you. Watch my self-talk today. Watch my self-talk today, right? What happens? 21 days? That is what creates the habit?
Maxwell Maltz wrote a great book called Cybernetics. He was a plastic surgeon that turned into a doctor because he saw that when he was operating on certain people, even though he made them look more beautiful, they still had that old paradigm of being an ugly duckling, so to speak.
Oh, that is so interesting.
How you raise performance is change your self-image. You cannot perform higher than you are unless your self-image changes, because the change is needed, because if you didn't change, then you could never make a goal. So when you set goals, you be aware that you're going to have some changes. But if you do it right, they're all positive changes. Mm-hmm. They're not negative. The negative ones come from yourself for not really conditioning your thoughts and minds. You have control of that. Nobody else can take that away from you. So just remember that next time you feel like really shouting and screaming, that's all right to be, how would I say it, tough on yourself. But don't be too tough, because you're a person that the fact that you are wanting to do something that's going to improve yourself, you deserve the very best then.
Mm-hmm. That is so very true. I love that when you go into that direction with what you know to be so true after all these years. And on a serious note, guys and gals, you know, my husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's, whatever, 5, 6, 7 years ago. We've been dealing with it. One of the side effects, actually 2 side effects, has affected him from only 2 medications that we thought might be helping. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but the 2 side effects, one of them is short-term memory loss. He has his long-term memory and could talk all day long, 8-10 hours in a seminar, right? That's the blessing. That's the blessing.
That is my responsibility as an educator of human beings, to set the stage, set the example.
That's right.
Excuse me.
Am I going to admit that I love the short-term memory loss? No. It can become problematic. I have to pray a lot to just give me more patience, because it's something new that I'll never get accustomed to. But because I love this man with all my heart, and it goes even stronger. We have been tested. We have really been tested. You know it, and I know it.
Yeah, I certainly have, haven't I?
And honestly, he's the one, winner, winner, chicken dinner for the patients. Because I would not want to deal with this in some of the ways that I was not managing my emotions. I was ticked off. Ticked off, I really was, because of what was going on. But you know what? Yeah, we have a choice. We have a choice to either sink or swim. And I wasn't about to sink. I'm always one to swim, just like the story of the Titanic. Right, Kel?
Right.
The story of the Titanic. You know, it's so true. And just when you think your kids are not paying attention to you, when you're giving your stories or your metaphors, and they come up with something like that, it's now going to be a part in what we're coaching on, in the perception and all. And gosh, there's so many stories like that out there. The stories from 9/11 and the people that were literally going down like the Titanic, and you get to hear what happened and all. It's a matter of just going deep into your heart, tapping into those heartstrings, those love strings. And I know you're so good about talking about Heart Math Institute, and we always go to that. I didn't tell the guys to go to the link, but if you go to the link, the Heart Math Experience, you can get a taste of this, and I believe it's still complimentary. I actually paid $29.95 for it. It was the best thing I ever did, which led me to get licensed to teach children, and that's where I experimented that with my grandson, JD, and I was so glad that I did. What can you share, another little tidbit of Heart Math? Because you were certified many, many years ago, twice, not once, but twice, because it resonated with you.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of satisfaction in helping other people get what they want so you can get what you want. And that really works as a great balancing tool. One of the things, the biggest thing I got out of my marriage of 20-some years is patience.
Wait a minute, are you talking about this marriage?
Anybody that tells me that you can have a successful relationship, whether it's be single or married, the one important ingredient that overcomes just about all is patience.
It is.
Not trying to change that person that you love. Not trying to give them an indoctrination that they don't want to follow. Because the thing that you want to do is every time they walk away from your your presence, and the same thing goes for them, you're really helping yourself by complimenting another human being, making them feel good. You want to feel good, you want to be happy, help somebody else get happy. I don't mean get involved to the point where it absorbs your total life and you call it overcare. You need to just give that person your caring, loving advice if you want to help them, and then let it go from there. As far as trying to make them better than they are, the key thing is they can do it on their own, but they just need a little help from you.
You know what I'm thinking about?
What?
Is your best part of patience is when you are completely silent and you give me the dad look. It's priceless. And that's when I know I need to just zip it. Well, I do have my moments, and I'm human, just like we all are. Sometimes I think I'd rather be a Yorkie. They have more understanding than humans, right?
Well, especially our two little Yorkies. Mm-hmm. They're smarter than we are, because they get more attention.
Well, gosh, we are less than 20 minutes to go in this show, and I'm so glad that you're joining us. And please feel free to repost our show, because it will be available like right after the show today. If you tuned in late and you missed part of it, let me see where my notes are. I printed this up in two. Okay, so yes, it was a crazy year in 2021. Onward and upward into 2022, holding our blessings in gratitude close to our hearts and hearts of all. And we mean that sincerely, because that's truly what's gotten us through this. If you've never done a gratitude journal, this is old news, but maybe new news to some people, because it changes your frequency, right?
That's right.
Gratitude and counting your blessings, it does change the whole picture. And if you want to know more about frequency, tune into these shows, because you're going to be hearing it more and more in mainstream, along with all the different new up-and-coming healthy immune boosting foods and things like that. We do not set up resolutions, as I started to say earlier. We do set goals and intentions, and coming up on the horizon for 2022 is going to be some brand new things that we have not shared with you. We, as always, we keep that 2020 vision, and we started that back in 2020. when we went from 2019 into 2020 with having a laser beam focus on what your intentions are, because it works. It truly, truly works. You'll be finding yourself manifesting unusual things. What you think about, you will bring about, no matter what it is. I'm telling you, it works. Check out The Secret. Yeah, Rhonda Burns was great with The Secret. She really was. But I didn't find anywhere in The Secret, the book, on how to do it. Remember when we read The Secret? But God bless her for raising the awareness of The Secret and that whole energy thing. I mean, there's nobody that talks about energy and frequency the way you do, because that's what we are, correct?
Right. Well, you know, I learned a lot about energy in competing in the martial arts. Because some of the people I competed against were some of the most physically, mentally, and emotionally fit human beings on the face of the planet. Now, when you get into situations where you have to deal with and compete with these type of individuals, then you've got to do everything you can to not just in the ring, but outside the ring, what you eat, how you treat people, how people feel about themselves when they leave your presence. All these things are things we can control. But what do? Sometimes we just get off on a tangent where sometimes it feels good to beat somebody in a contest. Well, that's all right. Just don't rub it in. And what they do to me when I would come to a tournament, they would see me walk in. They knew me because I competed all over the North American continent. They'd say, "Here comes that old man again." And I loved it, because I was always able to then make them eat their words, or most of the time I had the benefit of their respect. So it was a type of fun joke that I enjoyed.
I know, I remember that, but they weren't very nice. They really did try to take you out. I watched that. I heard your ribs crack in that auditorium one time when I was traveling with you, and I'll tell you, it was not pretty. And the only reason why my husband competed was to raise the awareness on human synergy. It was point karate. He never wanted to hurt anybody, and I don't think you ever really did, except for that one time.
Just one time I made someone bleed because it was his fault.
Yeah.
In other words, he came in when he shouldn't have come in, and I did what I needed to do to win the match. And of course he said, I broke his nose, and he said, "Well, now you come in here next year." That was in Madison Square Garden. I said, "Yeah, I'm coming next year." "Well, that's when I'm going to get you back, payback." And he was serious. He was really mad at me, but it wasn't my fault.
Well, you didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
So guess what? I came back next year, and there he was, and he was laughing because he couldn't compete. He had a broken leg.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
So then the third year, he came back, and I came back. And I never got to fight him because somebody else that I was to fight fought him and beat him, and then I was able to win the match that I was winning by trying to beat him and doing that service. What I like about that situation is it taught me to really be attentive to other people's feelings and so on. And I still, to this day, enjoy working with people, making them feel better about themselves. Well, you know, it's funny, 12 years ago, I started having funny things happening to my body. I was competing, but times when I didn't have some of the things going for me that I normally did, and I knew something was wrong with me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I went to the doctor, and he diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And sure enough, I had Parkinson's disease. Now, people say, "Oh, what's that going to do for your future and everything?" You know, my friends felt sorry for me. I said, don't sympathize with me, empathize. Think now this gives me more of a platform to show people if I can still do some of the things I did, even if they're not quite as well, that people will have a lot of respect and follow the program. So it gives me much more credibility with people than it did before. And like when the doctor told me that probably within 5 years you're going to lose a lot of the feelings that you have and so on. And you know, that was 12 years ago, and I'm still going strong. And I competed a couple of years ago with Parkinson and won a world championship, not to prove how good I am, to prove that the system works. because I tell everybody I was a lousy athlete in school. And sometimes they don't believe me, but it's true.
Exactly. And you were giving me that look. You're not even thinking of getting back in the ring.
I think about it all the time.
Oh, dear
If
God.
it wasn't for the shoulder that I hurt 35, 40 years ago playing softball,
You would.
falling backwards, hitting the shoulder, messing up my rotor cuff, and I still fought all those years, but the pain kept getting more and more and more. And so finally I had to be able to stop that type of activity.
But we have some other visions coming up for this year, which I think is going to be really great for you to help athletes. Help them. It doesn't matter where they are in their progress moving forward. If they need help to understand in any sport arena, it doesn't matter whether you're playing softball, whether you're playing football, whether you're going into the Olympics, going for the gold, for heaven's sakes, right? And your son is living proof by genes. He inherited that. He was raised by his mother and stepdad, and you were not in his life all those years and chose to find him and his sister, and come to find out they're all so much alike. It's such a beautiful story. And so what we want to do for the next year is we want to take our 2020 vision into 2022 with that laser beam focus, following the map of our system that my husband's talking about, and that's the Master Action Plan, learning how to master. And believe me, it's not easy to master things.
I can take somebody under my wing. I know this, and I'm not bragging, but I'm telling a fact. And just teaching them a few simple basics about life and about things in general that will affect your attitude, and really do that as a thing that is going to help you grow along with the people that you teach and mentor, and really give chances for them to be a world champion. I can tell you this, if you follow the program religiously, I can guarantee you that no matter what sport, what activity, you'll be a world champion. There is a champion in all of us, but it's just a matter of getting that champion out.
You know, that's really true. And we found your missing manuscripts, the Master Warrior Athlete, and we're seriously thinking of having these printed up just as is. They're old and they're yellowed, and the little changes, the little edits that you made, rather than making it all pristine and perfect, it's literally organic. And then we're going to add to that for 2022, and we're going to add to that some of the other things that we've learned and are continuing to learn. There will be a workbook with it, and you just trust us. If you've tuned in at any time, if you've seen my husband and I on Channel 10, they track us down for the real people in the neighborhood, right?
Absolutely.
No plastic surgery on either one of us. What you see is what you get. Weight gain, weight loss, whatever it is, this is what you get.
Well, you'd be surprised. In our neighborhood, we have 2 Yorkies. We had 2 Yorkies previously, and eventually they passed away, and then we have these 2 others. But the funny thing, when we moved there 20-some years ago, we were the only ones just about around the neighborhood that had dogs. And the ones that did, they were big dogs, biting dogs. So now you go in our neighborhood, and almost every other house seems to have a Yorkie, because we attracted attention when they found out our age, and they got friendly with our dogs when we took them for a walk. It really made an imprint on myself. You can use anything that you want to be positive, providing it doesn't cost somebody something you don't want.
That's true. So using the MAP, which is the Master Action Plan, an unwavering focus, and these are the words that came up to me today to give to you to write down or remember. Maybe you can say, yeah, I'm doing that, or yeah, I got to do that more. Prayer, number 1. Faith, love, laughter, friendship, and forgiveness. We have an acronym which you see me shamelessly promote on Facebook, is when I talk about dance life. there's an acronym to life that we've been doing for a long time. Love, inspire, forgive, and enlighten. And if we're not saying to do it our way, I mean, you can. It's there for you. But in our coaching program, we teach you how to coach yourself. I think that is probably the best way, because I've been coaching myself ever since I was a teenager. Ever since I was like so shorter than everybody else in school, and always being made fun of, and things like that, and being told I was stupid at home by my dad. And it just makes you want to strive and just dig deeper for that. I'll show you, just like you did. I'll show you. Your stepdad told you weren't worth 2 cents, and that you'd never do this and you never could do that.
Yeah, my coach made fun of me. My stepfather used to tell me I wasn't nothing but a bum because I liked certain things that he didn't like. So I had to really build up a lot of positive energy to stay under those circumstances. Got married because of that young, which was a big mistake. But it wasn't a big mistake.
No mistake.
Oh, you let me finish.
No,
wasn't a mistake at the time.
Yes, at the time.
But now I have 4 beautiful children, all very successful. So regardless of what my circumstances were, and regardless of how many times I got divorced, thing is, I have 4 beautiful children
That's
that
right.
love me and I love them, and it's just like so wonderful. And how did that happen? Well, because of my attitude reflected into their attitude, and it really made a major difference over a period of a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of so many things that are going through my mind and through my heart, and we only have like 5 minutes and a few seconds remaining. But I hope that you're enjoying our show today. Today was just sort of unscripted, open mic, and we're just having a little conversation with everyone, and we're happy to do that. We do this at home quite frequently, and we compare notes with one another. We use the 1 to 10 as a gauge as to how we're doing throughout the day, and just sit back and don't judge yourself. Just assess yourself. How do you feel? Ask yourself, well, you can say this easier than I can. How do you say, ask yourself how you're feeling through the day, correct?
Right.
It's like a gauge.
That's right. We all have a vibration level that we achieve every day, every hour. Our vibration level changes. The key thing is getting it to change for positive vibrations rather than negative vibrations. Mm-hmm. Say you took a scale of 1 to 10 on a piece of paper, going up, and then you have 1 to 10 going down. The thing is to circus your vehicle, your body, your mind, your emotions in the level that's above the negative. And the higher you go with that level, the more importance will be placed on being positive and being happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just couldn't agree more with what you're saying. And if you between now and when we see you the next time, which will hopefully be next Monday, that will be our New Year's show. And we'll probably go over this, what we've been talking about today, but there will probably be, excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you. I am blessed. We'll probably go over some of the things that we talked about today, but there's so much to share. We're going to start having some helpful guests come on the show for interviews on health and wellness. We're going to have some suggestions for you with different things that we've done, because people are asking us, how do you stay so positive all the time? How come you don't change? You look the same as you did then, or whatever. Well, we do change, right? We do change at some point in time. But it's the love that really, I noticed that with our friends that have a good relationship, and you can see the love in their relationship, you can see it in the way they are with one another. And that truly, I believe, is the key to the fountain of youth. I believe that, because there's 10 years difference from us. And I just know that it's the love that keeps us going no matter what is going on in our lives. And believe me, it has been challenging, and we're still working through it, just like you're working through different things. But if we can engage each other in conversation, even some texts, if you want, through the private, the private messaging or whatever, or even post on the show on primetime. What did you like about it? What would you like to see? All you have to do is let us know, and we'll make it happen for you, because there's no two cookie-cutter humans alike. There isn't. So we all have different issues. We have different issues with our mind, body, spirit, and how we handle that, whether we choose to flow through life or fight or what is it, fight or flight? Fight or flight, right? Fight or
That's
flight.
right, fight or flight.
So
you have a choice.
You have a choice, and that's what life is all made up of. And so what we've learned is how to live a heart-centered life, which allows us to make the right choices rather than the wrong choices, and then have to face those things later on. Because when you live from the heart, you make the right choices. There's no turning back. You learn it. It's a way of life.
The scientists say that the universe vibrates at 7 hertz. Do you know what love is? 7 hertz.
Ah.
When they take on the special machines that can measure the electrical energy from the heart, that it's so important to remember that if you want to really be into a heavenly way, so to speak, you circulate by meditation, by relaxation, and you can get that thermometer of stress test working beautifully by just simply realizing that you have control of your emotions, and take some time out every day, 15-20 minutes, and meditate.
Exactly. And on that note, I want to thank you for that. That was a great way to close our show. We have just a few seconds remaining. So my last comment is we want to all be in alignment and flow that can work well for our emotions. And I think that is something that if we spread around the world one heart at a time, I believe that it's possible to do that. You can check out Dennis-Kelly.com, BarbaraMarville.com, and on both of our websites, these are our personal websites, you can tap into the Heart Math experience and pick up and glean our life experience, the way we know it, the way we live it, the way we breathe it, and the way we pay it forward. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. Love one another, be happy, and know there's a miracle that can change your life. Love you all. God bless.